Sanderson. He is a fucking genius. I love him, and well, not him because I don't know him. I love how he writes, because I think that he's amazing, and that he has like this chameleonic way of just changing himself and the way he writes without losing his essence, if that makes sense, because he creates worlds that are all very different between them, and he has characters that are all of them amazing. But I love that despite knowing that it's Sanderson and you can appreciate the genius in which he writes, it's also like he can change like everything. I mean, I have read Mistborn, that is more fantasy, and now in these ones we have more like sci-fi, and it's amazing how well he can write all of that. And it's like, as I say, it has the essence of what he is and how he writes, but it's so different that sometimes it was like, I can't believe it's written by the same person, because it's so different between, it's amazing. Okay, so when I finish Skyward, by the way, if you haven't read the Skyward or are just finishing it, don't keep watching, because I can make spoilers, because I'm going to talk about things that happen in the first book. So yeah. So as I said, Skyward I love so much that I just couldn't stop reading. I needed to know more about the Spensa and the Grells and the war and everything going on with the humans, and So I turned read into Starsight, and I have to say that I love it. At the beginning I was a bit thrown out of balance, because when we began the book, it has been like roughly 6 months has passed, and we found Spensa, he has a little bit more power, and Cobb is now the big boss, and we find them fighting in space. So we are going to be told things about what has been going on, and also we are going to be put into situation. I think that if we had to wait for the books, that will help the readers just to situate themselves into this story and remember what happened in the first book. I read one and then the other, and I found out that all this information and just putting ourselves in a situation doesn't hinder the reading in any way, but it also helps you fall into this story. And what threw me a bit out of balance and at the beginning, and I just ended up loving it, it's that I was kind of expecting to find the same thing. I mean, like all these battles in the air and the Krell attacking and the humans holding their position and everything. But no, this book is going to throw us into Starsight, which is the city, one of the cities where the Krell live. You have here an illustration which I love. There's one. And we are going to have Spensa playing the role of a spy. She's going to infiltrate the ranks of the Krell and the other aliens in the coalition. And yeah, at the beginning I was like, what? But at the end I did love that, because it offered us another take into the story that's going on. I'm not going to say anything more about the story. Just let's say that we are going to have Spensa, as I say, playing a spy, knowing another life forms and other aliens, and just trying to gather information about a hyperspace jump, how they are doing that, because she thinks that she can steal one of the engines and bring it back to the Tritus, and then her people will have the ability to jump like she does using her brain. And yeah, there's going to be lots of politics, a lot of things inside things. So yeah, it's going to be a play for power, and I'm not going to say anything more because I want you to be surprised. As I said at the beginning, that threw me a bit of balance because I was expecting something, but I got other things that I ended up loving more, because what Sanderson did here is offer us, I think, that a wide scope, because in the first book we just saw things from the human point of view, and in this one we're going to be seeing different life forms, different aliens that are going to be fighting. Maybe they are fighting for things that are against humans, and they are fighting for things that are for humans, but we are going to be able to understand the concept that in a war there is people dying, and there's like the bad guys and the good guys, but there is more to that. There are like 1,000 shades of gray between all of that. And Spensa is going to come to realize that the people they are fighting, they also have families, they also have friends, they also have ideals and hobbies and things, and she's going to begin. She doesn't want to see the aliens as humans, or as not exactly as humans, that will be very centric, but as beings being alive. And she's going to realize that not all of them are evil, and that's going to be, I think that's a way of the character growing that's amazing, because she doesn't want, because it's easier to see the bad guys as the bad guys and anything, nothing else. But when she begins to see that there is kids there, that there is people who are innocent, that they can be polite, that they can be kind, and that not all of them are bad, she begins to see that maybe she can reach out and make allies and make friends, and that in a way scares her, because if there comes to be a battle, they're going to be on opposite sides. So she's stuttering in this age between, do I keep seeing them as just things, this idea of evil that comes to sweep off humanity, or do I dare to go and see them as something else, even despite the fact that she's hiding that she's human. And I love that. And also I love the idea of different races and different species coexisting, and the idea that maybe there is some kind of barrier, because we see things as we are, not as they are. And that's something that we are going to see in the book. Spensa is going to make judgments looking through her eyes, through her culture, through the things that she has learned. And there is much more. And to understand other people, other species in this case, you have to somehow mingle with them and understand where they come from. And that's going to be also a reflection. Also eugenics. And there's going to be a character that is a melding of two characters. And it's amazing. Moriumur, I'm talking about him, they, because you don't know if he is a male or a female, so they refer it as they. And I love that this book has this inclusion about characters without a gender, and I love that. And also I love that character and the idea behind this character of how about how they are constructed and what implies. And I'm not going to say much because you have to discover it while reading the book. But I think that what Sanderson did in this book is fucking genius, because as I say, what he did was widening the scope, showing that not in a war, not everyone is bad, everyone has families, and there is always a power over all of them, just throwing them. It's like that image I saw, that you have the soldiers and it's like the chessboard, and you have the people in power just moving them, and it's more or less like this idea. And there is a lot of things that makes the book amazing. As I say, the growth of the Spensa, how she begins to see the aliens as something else other than rivals. I did love Imbot. I love the artificial intelligence that can be so sassy and, that wants to learn. And I love the idea that despite being a machine, he keeps trying to be human, and he wants to be able to feel, to understand, to evolve. And I love how there's also this evolution about him, and I want to talk, but I don't want to spoil anything. So I love that he's a character and not just some comedic relief or something that it's just an object. I love that he's this window for growth, and I love what he does with that. I also Dom's look. I love seeing Dom's look and Dom's slack, I think that's what we pronounce. And there had to be something more to that animal. Yeah, probably it's going to be something brilliant about it. And I'm going to shut up now because I don't want to make spoilers, and I must did make one, and I don't want to. And now I can't believe I have to wait like a year just to get the third one, because this trilogy, it's amazing. And if the last book is anything like the first two, it's going to be one of my favorite reads of all times. And it ends with a cliffhanger that it's like, and I really need to read the following one. And I didn't talk about the way Sanderson writes, but you are already familiar with him, and if you aren't, he is a god. I love how he writes. I love how he puts so many things inside his books. I love how he gives you little hints so you can try to figure things out, and sometimes these hints he gives you, they are just to distract you from all the bigger things that are going on. And I love how he gives and he takes, and he narrates in a way that's amazing, and it makes you feel like you're inside the book and you're seeing a movie, and you can imagine everything in your mind, and He's fucking amazing. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you read them, just let me know what you think about these books. Bye!